I think Payne should be a little bit nervous. Tibbs' real favorite is back in the building. It's the battle of the favorite child, and Derrick Rose will win every single time. I'm not too heartbroken about losing DSJ. I don't know how I feel about losing a draft pick. I think every draft pick counts, especially when you're trying to rebuild. So I'm kind of torn on that. And it is going to be interesting to see who loses minutes and if Derrick Rose gets all those minutes. And knowing Tibbs the way I've known him and the way I've observed him, I think Derrick Rose is going to see a lot of playing time. So.
Yeah, this bothers me. It does. It just does. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Like, we need shooters, and we got another guy who can't shoot, and his game is to go to the basket, and he hasn't been doing that well this year either. Maybe we can, revamp him and revive him, and maybe he can finish at a better rate this year, but he's not playing well. And on top of that, like I said, this is a Tibbs favorite. My fear is now Tibbs has two favorites ahead of IQ. and so it's just like, all right, cool. What are we? Where is he going to play? What position is he? Is he playing starting point guard? Is he playing backup point guard? He can't play off guard. That's not his game. So now we're just making IQ a shooting guard.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. Some of the teams.
Now I want a point guard who can shoot. CP, I've been wanting a point guard who can shoot on this team for years. We finally have a point guard who can shoot, and we're gonna make him a shooting guard.
I actually did not think of it like that. I actually went straight to Peyton, like, oh, Peyton's in trouble. But now you have two favorite children. The third child is going to be screwed, and the third child's IQ. So, yeah, I'm kind of annoyed now that he just pointed that out. So, thank you, Jay.
I would say this. On the price, I'm okay with it. DSJ wasn't going to be back here anyway. The second-round pick, it is what it is. If you look at what Tibbs is doing right now, all these kids are not going to make it, period. Whether it's playing time or even just being on this roster. The cream of the crop is going to play. And so, the second round pick, losing that, it could be a high one, especially depending on where Charlotte finishes, but you got to pay to play. And if DSJ is going to be rendered useless, you got to give Detroit a little bit of value, or what they perceive as value. They wanted Knox, according to Ian Begley, and the Knicks balked at that and any first round pick consideration. So cost-wise, I'm okay with it. I think it's a low-cost move, a low-risk move. In terms of the playing time, we'll see who's impacted. To me, I'm looking right at Austin Rivers, because from the tunnel vision and never finding Obi or anybody to the over-dribbling and not doing his job, which is to get buckets, I think he could set him aside. And as Jay Boogie, I talked to Jay Boogie last night, and as Jay Boogie said, you could throw that backcourt of D Rose, IQ out there. They'll push the pace up for you on that second unit, which is very important for this Knicks team, who's always last in pace and never gets out in transition. Maybe D Rose helps activate Obi a little bit. It's not the perfect Band-Aid to what we need, but maybe having them as two ball handlers out there, that can push the pace a little bit, give IQ a chance to play off ball a little bit. You add in Burks, 2 3-pointers at the wing. I'm not sure, to me, it's not a terrible idea as long as IQ's minutes are not impacted. I look at Rivers, give Rivers his minutes. Rose has been coming off the bench for Detroit.
Yeah, but they traded him because he doesn't want to come off the bench. I mean, they traded him because because they're prioritizing the youth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, obviously, yes, he could start. I think he's more likely to close in certain stretches. It's we have to see how Tibbs plays this out. We got to see how Tibbs.
But then that also is a big if it doesn't affect IQ's minutes, if it doesn't affect IQ, if it doesn't affect his growth. I think the issue is, and I think what I'm worried about is you've already seen how Tibbs' stubbornness reflects his rotation and his distribution of playing time. So now that you bring in another favorite of his, I'm worried, Jay Ellis is worried, that favoritism is going to continue, and it's going to now go ahead and benefit D Rose as well. So Bingo. I think it's more of a possibility that it's going to affect IQ, and it's going to affect him negatively, because now, unlike before, where Tibbs didn't have these options. He had IQ, he had Payne. Now you bring D Rose in the mix. Now, he thinks I'm rolling in shooters. I don't got to play all of them. Shoot, let D Rose shoot. No. I'm very like, I don't know.
I'm more than happy to join both of you on that train. I just got to see how it plays out. I just got to see how it plays out. And you're right. Tibbs is showing us that it's probably going to lean towards your take, Ashley and J. Ellis, in terms of leaning towards those guys more and a little bit less of IQ. But let's see how it plays out. That's all I'm saying. For the price, I'm not mad at it. Mad at it. Right now, they're fighting for the playoffs. We know that. They want to win. This was a low-cost, low-risk move, in my opinion, based on how this team is playing. It's not a perfect option. No, he does not space the floor for us. He does not. He's going to drive to the hoop. He's going to finish better than Peyton. I'll tell you that much. And
can you say that much? His numbers aren't better than Peyton's this year finishing at the hoop.
I don't know. I don't know what you can say anymore.
Look, we'll double check on that.
I know that's what percentages
at the rim. What's his percentages at the rim this year?
I look. I look because I talked about this on the pod last week, and he's 10% points lower than Peyton was as of last week. I don't know what that point is this week because he played some more games, but he was not finishing at the rim at a higher rate. Peyton was actually finishing at a higher rate.
Well, I gotta look into that. We gotta look into that, Jails. I trust him more than Peyton. Put it that way. I trust him more than I would trust Alpha Peyton.